Awesome, and I actually have the privilege of being the 5 to 8 campus principal, and I say privilege because as a secondary sort of trained teacher and teaching year 12 and year 11 for many years, it wasn't until I had my hands that I actually thought, oh, these little kids are quite nice. The thought of having these little kids around me was in my early teaching was a bit scary, and just the feel of the primary campus, the energy, the kids, the displays around the primary campus, the way the teachers ran the class at lunchtimes, all of that stuff I didn't really know about until I had my own kids going through the primary, and I actually thought, oh gee whiz, my year 7 class hasn't been 100% correct, I don't think. I should have spent a lot of time at a primary school for that experience, because I did. I taught year 7 and I tried great learning skills already coming in. So this 5 to 8 campus, we've spent a heap of time and a heap of energy looking at research and all these other things, and if you could go to the next slide, please. You know, this is just a really good stepping stone for us. In year 7, I'm going to leave most of the talking to the current year 7 teachers from this year, but it's just a really exciting sort of time for us. I'd like to just quickly introduce some of the staff that are around the room. We've got Cindy, Latessa and Sammy Till up the front, who are this year's year 7 core teachers. They've also got the teachers for PE and wood and art and all sorts of things like that. They'll talk about those later. Karen Malavi's over here. Thanks, Kaz, for videotaping and making me, this is my good side. Kim Stewart, the college principal's up the back there. Roberta Williams up the back. Caroline O'Dwyer, our school council president, welcome. Georgina Brennan up the back, who's the 5 to 8 campus student engagement wellbeing leader. Tim Seal, one of the current year 6 teachers, along with Christy Davis, another of our year 6 teachers. Fleur's here in probably 2 ways, as a parent and also as one of our art teachers. Now, have I missed anyone? No, I don't think so. We've got some of our year 7 leaders in tonight as well, because we want those guys to tell you how it really is. You know, I'm going to tell you it's fabulous because I think it is fabulous. And, you know, get them later and just say, what's it really like, you know? And they'll be honest, you know, because that's one of our school values. And values is a very important part of what we do across the entire P12 college. Look, that information on the slide I'm not going to talk about, but just to let you know, we have looked at, you know, a lot of research, as I said before, and this is a particular scholar called Peter Cole. There's been a heap of middle schools information that's been done, you know, over the past 10 to 15 years. Heaps and heaps of it. We've just been in a really lucky situation where we had this area that we could develop, and we had a big growth spurt as a college over the past 9 years. And I don't want to say that I've been here for 9 years and that's because, you know, the reason why the school's grown so much. I'm doing my bit for Yarrawonga's population with my own kids, but the school was getting really, really tight for space at the primary campus, and even across the road. We really struggled every year with classes and classrooms. So we've been really lucky to have this site to develop, and we've gone from 2 quite large campuses to 3 medium-sized campuses, and that means all this research and all the work we've looked at, in a nutshell, it says relationships between kids, between students and kids, between staff, parents, all that is the key to learning and the key to successful students. And for us, it just makes total sense that if we go from a big campus to a smaller one, we've got less kids, more time with those kids, better relationships, and better learning outcomes, and that's what it's all about. That's our main goal, success for your students. Just before I pass over, I suppose one other thing for our current year 6 students, there's been in the past a massive sort of step from being in year 6 going into year 7. I'm at a primary school, I'm going to the secondary school with the big kids and all that sort of stuff. For our current year 5s and 6s, that massive step has now altered significantly, because they're already here and they're already experiencing a secondary campus, and they've basically got the best of both worlds. We've taken the best of primary school education and setups, and we've mixed it with the best of the secondary system. And it's for us, it's great. For the students that are coming from Mulwala, Tungamara, Sacred Heart, it's still a big step from year 6 into year 7. So we started yesterday with an open day. There'll be more transition. Miss Brennan's our transition leader. She's more than happy to talk to anyone about extra days. So there'll certainly be opportunities for students to come in, mingle, make some new friends. We're lucky we're a small community where lots of kids know each other already. So yesterday, it was really good to walk around the different groups, and they seem to have fun. And I'm hoping to get some feedback tonight too. I'd now like to pass over to Cindy and Sammy, who's going to tell you specifically about Year 7, and hopefully I've made my time limit.
Well, I'll apologise for us as well, because we're quite passionate about what we do, so we tend to get on the soapbox and talk. So we were going to put the slides on to time us, to wind us up, we thought, we won't do that. Okay, so basically what do we do? In here we have all of the Year 7s for their core subjects, which are English, Maths, SOS, which is Geography and History, Science, Health and Drama. Now, already people are going, all right, how does that work? As Ross said, we have core teachers that are responsible for the teaching of those subjects in here with those Year 7 students. The space itself, we've left it set up as it is for when we teach. So basically where Roberta is, we have some dividers that go across just to give the kids the sense of ownership of this space. We have areas here, we have the do, we have the you, and we have the circle zones. So when we're saying that we've got teaching spaces and they're flexible, that's what we mean. In the room to the side, that's part of our space as well, and we call that the R zone. At the moment it has no tables in there. If you came in first term and had a look at how we were operating, we actually had tables set up in there, and we had a space here where the kids got to sit and talk. Now, we changed the space according to the needs of our students and what we're wanting to do with them. Now, what does that mean? We're trying to get our students to be independent learners. Okay, so we work them in a variety of groups, and I'll keep referring back to the slide, and I'll apologise for that later. We have them in small groups, we have them in workshops, we have them in large groups. Sometimes we teach them en masse. Now, that's all very well to say that's what we do, but very much in first term, we're training the kids to be able to work in those situations. So for us to say we have 54 students in there doing discussion, and you go, that's good. No, we've put the work in to train these kids to be responsible, independent learners. We have high expectations of them, and you rise to the expectations, maybe.
And they work with other people as well. They don't just work with their friendship groups. We can say get into groups of 4 in mixed gender, and the kids just do that straight away. You give yourself a number, time to swap, they do it, not a problem. But that was all part of the Term 1 training.
So we're really aware of the fact that not only do we want to send out of this space well-educated young individuals, we want them to be independent learners. So all the work we're putting in this year follows them through Year 8, Year 9, Year 10, Year 11. Our space, as I said, we have the do zone for obvious reasons. In the group we had yesterday, we kept saying go to the do zone.
They could not figure it out. Can anyone figure out why that is the do zone?
Did you do stuff? No?
The D and an O.
Well done. It's a D and an O. Do. It's the do zone. We do stuff in it. The tables are literally a do set out.
So what we do as part of becoming an independent learner, is we set up a system that operates similar to a licensing system, the same sort of licences that you operate on. So our students in their diaries have a plate, an L plate, a P plate, or a full licence.
Which is here on the screen.
So how do they get those? They have to prove that they can work independent from us. So they start off on L plates in first term, and we give you lots of skills and what's expected. And I'm looking to our leaders to listen on. And they earn stars. They earn stars. So as they progress along and accumulate stars, they move from the L plates to the P plates. What does that mean? They have more privileges. At the moment we're in term 3, so we've got very high expectations. We have one space in the zone where L platers can go without teacher direction, and it's there. Because what we're saying to our students is, by this stage in the year, you should be more independent. You should be able to work on a task that we've given without us standing over you going, are you still going? Are you still going? If you can't, that's the space where there'll be a teacher to monitor what you're doing. They don't want to stay there, because if you're on a P plate, that frees you up even more. You can come and sit on the do table. You can sit on the floor. You can go over to the tables here. You can go in our zone.
Bean bags.
Yeah, we have bean bags in there. You can go in there and work. So they want to become more independent. Then they can move on to a full licence. Now, when we're doing our project work, which is independently based, they can come up to us and say, Miss Till, is it all right if I go and sit out in the sun today? I'm going to sit out there and do my work. All right, that's fair enough. Write your name up on the board and where you are. You meet there. I need to go over to the library. Is that okay? Put your name on the board. Over you go. So we're giving them even more independence from us. By the end of term 4, we'd like all our students to be fully licensed and be able to operate free from fear of us being at the back of them going, have you handed that in yet? It's not pleasant, is it? So that's what the personnels do.
So team teaching, like Cindy and I are doing here, we just work off one another. We just bounce off one another. As one of the kids' speeches said, is that we have the teachers on our backs basically. There's less wait time when there's questions, there's less chance of doing something wrong because there's one of us there straight away to deal with the misbehaviour. There's specialist teachers in different areas, so literacy, numeracy, SOS, etc. So the kids get expertise of the different teachers in the one, I don't know that I'm making sense, but oh, that's good. In the one zone. So instead of going to the literacy class or the numeracy class, they get it in the one room at the one time. So Miss Al could be explaining something to the kids and Henry's going, Miss Al, I just don't get it. I'll grab Miss Till for you. Oh, Miss Till, I still don't get it. We'll grab Mr. Wilson for you. So they've got straight away 3 different teachers that can help explain something compared to the one teacher where you might be sometimes going, I still don't get this.
And that's probably more obvious to you if you're trying to do, excuse me, homework with your own children at home, and it's very obvious to you what you're trying to explain to them, and they don't get it, and you're going, well, I'll do it again, and they don't get it. So you're doing the same old, but with having 3 different teachers in here, I can explain it one way. Once again, here is not doing it. So Miss Till's approach to it's completely different.
Why do we do it? Because we like it. It's more enjoyable. It's the best 1.5 years of teaching I have had in my short but long career. The research around middle years states that the relationship building is really important for the kids to actually learn, and part of the learning zone is we build those strong relationships between the kids to point of need teach them so we understand where they're at, where they need to get to, what their interests are to help better educate them.
And that relationship we try and build up with you as well. And I know we've got a few parents in the audience that have had us teaching their Year 7s, and I won't call out any people, but they know we make that call home to say, we're concerned about this. You get a letter home to say, can you give us a ring because... such and such needs help here and we want you on board to help us. We're very quick to do that. We're also trying to build up a very strong sense of giving the kids somewhere to belong, right? A really strong sense of community. They're ours as much as we are theirs, and we make no apologies for that. Having teachers in here, like I'm a tad older than Sammy, and the last year and a half has been probably the one time in my career where I've been able to go off and deal with a child and a group of children are still being managed really well by someone else. What do we mean by that? Sammy's teaching, Shelley, who I know, and I said I wouldn't call her out, is having a difficulty. I can move off with Shelley and deal with it, whether it's academic, whether it's personal, whatever. The teaching still happens. So there's less disruption. And doing that, the kids know we care for them now when they're having a problem. Not, we'll catch up with you if we can later on. Excuse me.
So what have we found? It's really black and white, it's very blunt. It's as simple as the kids are happy. They want to be here. That's shown through their attendance. That's shown through when one of us are out. It's, where have you been? Why weren't you here? They have ownership of this space. They take pride in the learning zone. They have choice about where things go on the walls, if that should be there, if that should be taken down, if that looks a bit dodgy. They look after their things. Everything in this space is theirs and ours, and the kids are very protective of their things. I'm looking at the kids and they're like, yes, no, maybe so, Miss Till. And all the students are learning at their level. So Miss Al and I, we're not being compared. If I'm showing growth, that's fantastic. If Miss Al's showing growth in her own personal area, in her reading, if she's gone from here to here, that's great. Is that sound right?
I don't know if it'd help if I showed that board. I'm looking at Shelley again with the maths on it to say, did that help you understand groupings when I was showing you before, Shelley? Don't even know. Before we were talking, I was talking to one of the parents and we were talking about groupings and how we group kids to find out what kids know. Because our theory is we've got kids for a short amount of time. So why keep teaching them things they already know? If they know it, why do we want to teach it again? So we'll move forward with their point of need, what they need to know. So what that means is we set up different groupings. We might have 2 groupings, we might have 3, we might have 4. It depends on what we're doing at the time. The thing that I like most and have found said in my teaching career I've never did before, we actually move students while we teach. So if we've got Fleur in my group, because she needs some help on decimals and she's not sure on place value, she's sitting there with me and our other group of students, and all of a sudden she goes, I've got that now. We physically move them between groups while we're teaching. So we plan together, we know what each other's teaching, we teach the same thing at different levels at the same time. So I can move Fleur to the next group because I know they're teaching the same thing, but at a harder level, if you like. The same way as if Bronwyn was in my group and she wasn't getting it, I can say, we'll move you to another group. Now, the question we're often asked when we say that is, how do kids relate to that? There's no drama. Because once again, in the first term, we do a lot of work. If you ask your kids, what are you good at, what aren't you good at, they're honest. They say, I'm really good at reading or lousy at maths. They know. So they're happy to be where they can learn. So the work we put in first term is to set up that community, that comfort. They're happy to move around. It's silly to sit somewhere where you don't understand something.
And can I just touch on the team teaching with the specialist teachers? If I speak about maths, if we keep with that theme, the best thing about what we've achieved with Year 7 is I've taught Year 7 maths, I don't know, probably 15 or 16 years worth of it. I've never ever been able to help a student at the lower end like Miss Latessa can. because Mrs. Latessa has the experience from the primary years. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Sammy and Cindy probably wouldn't be able to extend the top kids like I can because I've got the Year 12 and Year 11 maths experience. So I know where a lot of the stuff they do in Year 7 is going to lead to, plus, you know, extra stuff with the science and that sort of thing, bringing it in. So having the specialist teachers across the full P to 12 spectrum, I just think that what I've witnessed and what I've been a part of in maths especially has just been much better than what I would have done by myself in a classroom with 25 kids.
Very true, Mr. Wilson. And it is. Another thing we pride ourselves on is celebrating the kids' success. There's nothing better than getting them together and going, well done. We've just had one of our students make it into the state Victorian hockey side, so we were very excited by that and we celebrate that. Each week we have an assembly where we have 3 stars of the week and we also have a leadership award. So that leadership award is actually picked by our leaders each week and they decide upon who in our Year 7 cohort deserves that award. So it's the kids recognising each other as well as Miss Latessa and myself recognising the students' achievements. At the end of each term we have a whole campus assembly where we celebrate success throughout the whole term, from their elective subjects, their art, their home eco, woodwork, had a brain freeze then, couldn't think of them, as well as their core subjects in the learning zone. And that's really it for our celebrating success. And we enjoy it. No? Yes?
Yep.
You love getting your photo taken, don't you? Yeah.
Tell your parents.
And bringing us to one of our last slides is about our leadership. And this is where we're going to ask our leadership team if they could come on up. Each term we have between 4 to 6 leaders. These leaders are not just, you know, everyone put your heads down, hands up, who gets the most votes. To become a leader, the kids can nominate themselves or be nominated by somebody else. Then they sit and interview with the zone leaders and they're actually picked upon how they performed in their interview and their ideas that they put forwards in that interview. It's not like you're going for a job and it's the end of the world if you don't get it. It's a sit-down chat, but it's like good practice stepping stones for later in life. Leaders. So we have Sam, Chris, Henry and Tia, who are going to share some of their experiences from the Learning Zone with you.
Good evening. As Ms. Tilda said, I'm Tia, and this is Henry, Chris, and Sam. Today we're going to be talking about some of the things that we do in the zone and some of the experience that we've had. Okay, I'm now going to pass to Henry, who's going to talk about the Learning Zone itself.
My name is Henry and I was one of the Term 2 leaders. I'm here to talk to you about the way the Learning Zone works for Year 7. The homework was a big change for me, going from only having reading tasks for homework to doing full pages of homework. It was a massive change. Even though I find it challenging to complete the Year 7 homework requirements, I can see the rewards and how it's preparing me for the future years at school. In the Learning Zone we have project books. We have a series of projects we do each term, and each project we complete, we are improving. Our projects are marked on our own personal ability. We are not compared to each other. I really like this. This term we are focusing on Egypt as a whole, and a lot of our work throughout this term is based on ancient Egypt. We complete rotations for our ancient Egypt unit, and in each rotation we have different roles to complete, and you are accountable for what role you have been given. Our Egypt unit is massive. It covers literacy, numeracy, soc and drama. Finally, I really like the way we do hands-on activities instead of just writing. Thank you for listening and hope you can see the benefits in the Year 7 Learning Zone.
Hi, my name is Chris Jones and I was one of the Year 7 that, we had 3 zone teachers that will be our teachers throughout the year. With more teachers, you can get seen quicker when you need help. We also have more teachers to catch you out if you're not doing the right thing. At the start of the year, we were introduced to our hours fees and full licence opportunity system. There are different restrictions of each level of your licence. If you're on your hours, you have less spaces that you can freely go in the learning zone. During recess and lunch time, you're only allowed inside on extreme weather days. Allocators strive to get to their P plates. On your Ps, you can come inside at recess and lunch whenever you want, and you can get extra privileges, such as sitting on the beanbags. Once you are on your Ps, you aim for your full licence. On your full licence, you get to sit on the couches. Work outside when it's a nice day. You can even be in the learning zone without Miss Till and Miss L. One thing to remember is you can lose points on your licence, which means you can go from Ps back to your hours if you're doing the wrong thing. The space that you are sitting in now is our learning zone. The tables and chairs often get moved to what we feel is best for us. Our mat space used to be out here. Now it's in the R zone. We have a lot of work up around the room, and we have to have input where things are put and well is pulled down. In the R zone, we have chalkboards that have our quotes of the week up on them. The leaders pick them each week, and it's really nice to see. I hope you have enjoyed hearing about our learning zone. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Tia, and I was the Year 7 Term 2 leader. The leadership is a big part for Year 7 students. Well, for me it was. Being a leader was a massive opportunity for the leaders, both old and current, get to experience, and we are really lucky that we get this opportunity. Being a Year 7 leader is brilliant because you get to practice your public speaking skills and getting to work with people that you would never normally work with. We run weekly assemblies, and that is a great opportunity to practice our public speaking. I believe each leader gets better each time they get up and speak. Being a leader, you get to organise free dress days, fun days, and fundraising too. There are some great perks of this position. Being a leader, you have the chance to go to our campus principal, Mr. Wilson, and ask if we can purchase couches, beanbags, room chairs, day chairs, and other things to help better our space. When you're a leader, you set the example for how the younger kids should behave. We also set the example for how the rest of the Year 7 should behave. I believe that the leaders should show our school values of responsibility, honesty, cooperation, respect, and integrity at all times. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam Moore, and I'm pleased to be able to talk to you tonight about some of the opportunities available to the Year 7 students at Yarrawonga College P. Apart from the fantastic learning zone, students in Year 7 get to participate in a variety of additional subjects. For example, the first part of this year, I enjoyed music, which allowed me to try different instruments and learn about them, as well as learn some music theory. This was a particular favourite for me, and now I've taken the opportunity to continue learning about music through instrumental bass guitar lessons, and believe it or not, I'm now even in part of a Year 7 band. I've also tried my hand at metalwork, which was something I've never tried before. This gave me the opportunity to work with tools I've never used and create cool things from my imagination. I made a pencil box, pen holder, a spatula and for Dad's barbecue, and a can opener. I also enjoyed having home economics during first semester. It was great to learn some basic cooking skills, and I even got to take things home a couple of times to share with the rest of the family. Being part of Yarrawonga College P provides great opportunities to try a lot of different subjects in Year 7 and get an idea for what you might like to study in the future. So far, I've tried a few different things, and this semester I'm looking forward to the challenge of more new subjects. It's great to be able to have a go at everything and work all these subjects in with our learning zone. You never know, Any one of us could be the next master chef, rock star, sporting great, or fashion designer. Though probably that's not me. All thanks to the great range of subjects at YCP 12. Thank you for listening.
I'm looking at Sammy across our leaders. We're exceptionally proud of you. Well done. As they said, they have been term leaders at different terms, and some part of being a leader was a struggle, wasn't it? And I'm looking at Chris. It was a struggle, wasn't it? But we're exceptionally proud to see how well they stood up there and not only represented us in the zone that they're doing. So well done. Yep.
Thank you all for coming tonight. I hope you got lots of information. The teachers and also us leaders will be around afterwards if anyone has any further questions. Thank you.
So, like our board says, we are exceptionally proud of our space and what we do. We've got our leaders here to show how proud of them we are. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask us, Mr. Wilson, or any of the other teachers around, Miss Brennan, or approach the zone leaders. They're more than happy to have a chat to anyone.
If you go away from here and you think of anything you want to ask, feel free to ring the school. You can either make an appointment to come and see one of us or make a time to come in and see the zone in operation.
So if there are any questions, and look, in front of a big group, it's quite often a case of I really don't want to put my hand up and... Yes.
I'm never shy.
Right.
How many year sevens have you got this year?
This year we have 54.
So year sevens and year eight share this space, do they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other grades, they're just in
And
normal
yeah,
learning.
Years 5 and Year 6 are in the building out the back here. We
Yeah.
have a campus library just here.
Yeah.
And in this particular building, it's 4 hours a week where Year 7 and 8 actually do share it. The rest of the time, Year 7 will be in here while the Year 8s are doing PE or art or that sort of thing. So it's not all that often they're always in here. And if they are, it's quite interesting because I always thought, all right, 110 kids in a space like this, it's going to be loud. And it's really surprising. I should have mentioned at the start that I'm more than happy to take people on a tour tonight of this campus and across the road if you'd like to. But we're also, if you want to come in and see how it actually works with kids here, please feel free to give us a call and arrange a time to come in. As I said, it's really surprising what the noise level is like with that many kids in a big space.
One of the leaders, Mr. Wilson, I don't know who it was you, Sam, just said it's good, it's fine.
Yeah.
As you were talking.
It's just quiet. There's no loud noises or anything from both
The only The
sides.
only time when it's loud is if the year 8s are watching a movie or documentary and
Yeah.
Miss Thomas, etc. are trying to speak over it. That's the only time that it's really loud, but we manage.
But the thing is, it's all part of becoming an independent learner. So we put a lot of work into getting the kids to be able to focus on tasks in hand. The dividers are up majority of the time. Our aim would be for the end of this year, towards the end of term 4, that we could operate 2 year levels in here at the same time. Should be able to. If they're focused and on task and know what they're doing, they should be able to. If not, we just put the dividers back on.
And next year the Year 7 group will be larger, and depending on how big the group is will depend on how many core specialist teachers end up with them.
Yeah, I was going to ask about, was there a ratio or?
It comes down to a lot of factors. We go for 1 to 18, 20 as a maximum, but it also depends on what's available and across the whole college.
Yeah.
Is there any questions for any of our leaders? Any of our student leaders? Or? Yeah?
Who's me? Did you all come from grade 6 here, or did you come from other schools?
I came from Sacred Art and so Chris.
I've been to a few different schools. In Yarrawonga I went to Sacred Heart till year 5 and I came here for year 6 and year 7.
I've been here since grade.
Okay. So was it Henry and Henry and Chris. So you came from grade 6 to year 7 this
Yep.
year. How did you find that?
Yeah, it was a bit of a change to learn new people, but it was good. Good to meet new people.
So you settled in really well. And
Yeah.
Did you find it hard making new friends?
No, everyone was really nice and stuff, so it was easy.
And Chris, when were you a leader?
I struggled through most of the stuff.
No, but you've come from a new school and you were one of our term 1 leaders?
Got through to be a leader.
Yeah.
First time.
So you come from a different school, of one of our feeder schools, and Chris come in and sat the interview, did a really good interview, and he was one of our term 1 leaders. And he did do a great job. He learned a lot about himself and what he himself needed to do to be a better independent learner. And he's here tonight to show that he has come a long way. He's done quite well.
Miss Rhodes.
Sorry, I'm going to be really silly asking this, but Sam, what electives do you do in year 7, like over the whole year?
There's a lot of electives, say I was talking about music, home economics, metalwork, woodwork, sport, PE, textiles, visual arts, there's a IT,
And
I can't,
Science.
the science,
science, I can't remember.
health. Yeah, there's lots.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
So if for a breakdown, it's 50% here and 50% electives at the moment for year 7.
We get a planner that we hang up on the fridge or in our planners or in our lockers so that we know what we have when. We get that at the beginning of the year, which is good.
And do you guys know when your choices start? So when you get to choose what subject you really want to do?
I think it's year 8.
Yeah. So in year 7, year 5, 6 and 7, it's the taster of all the different subjects, and then in year 8 they get to actually choose what they're actually more interested in. So if Sam, to be sexist, isn't all that keen on textiles, he may not pick it again for year 8. But he did mention fashion design before, so... Look, please, oh, yeah, sorry.
Is there homerooms, like home groups that they have, like of a morning roll call or anything
Oh,
like
do you
that?
guys want
Zones basically.
Yeah.
So it's open from 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock till 4:30, and they're in the space majority of the time. First semester, which is the first 2 terms, they are, or this year, they start every day with us. Second semester, which we're in now, we actually have probably 2 days where you don't start the day with us. So we're weaning them off us, if you like.
3 or 3.
And if you have a look, our actual timetable is over the far corner. That's where Sammy and I and Ross, when we're planning, put up what we're doing, so the kids can come in and see what units we're doing, what they need to bring, what we've planned to do.
This is like their home group, so we're their home group teachers, I guess, if you want to look at it in that terminology. So if the kids need something or have an issue or just want to have a chat about something, they come to either Cindy or myself as the first point of call.
First term, we're really involved with them as we bring them in. We help them set up their folders, so they've only got 2 folders, one when they're in here and one when they're away from us. We walk them to their electives so they know where they're going.
Help organise the lockers and do locker checks.
Yes, organise lockers and have spare keys to get lockers open.
Sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing too. So that we also have sports carnivals and swimming carnivals and school formals, and that's from year 7 to 12. So they're not excluded there as well. So, and the sports days are really enjoyable with the older kids too.
In our planners, we have a map of the 2 schools, which I found very useful because one time I actually did get lost at the other school when I had my class on this campus. So the maps are useful.
We constantly change. Last year we had homework sessions after school for kids. We found that we had a large group of our students that had extracurricular activities, couldn't get to homework. So if you look over on the board over on the whiteboard, as I said, we're in here from around about 8 till at least 4:30 every day, except when we've got yard duty. Kids come in and just put their name up. So if they're having trouble with their maths mates or an English basic, or that's what the MMs stand for, maths mates, FDs, fractions and division, something that's happened in here they just didn't get, so they put their names up there and they went up. What's today? Wednesday? Tuesday? Monday. One day. And we just literally call them out when we've got time if they're in the zone, and we deal with whatever problems we've got. We found that that's probably better than the homework club that we had 2 or 3 kids that could get to.
Do you guys want to talk about how you find being in a group of 50-something year 7s as opposed to being in the separate classrooms you were in last year?
Well, with all of the kids in here, sometimes it's good because if you don't understand something you can go to one of the kids that you know is really good, and you can ask them, and because they might be in a different class to you. If you're all together, it doesn't really matter. It can get kind of, first term, when we weren't very good at putting up our hand and waiting politely, it was loud, but we're a lot better at it now. And then when everyone puts in their hand and offers opinions, you get a lot of really good knowledge.
So if you have a group task to do, are you allowed to work with anyone across the whole year level?
Yep.
So I suppose if you've got a group task to do when you actually are with 7A in home echo, you've got a group of 20 kids still. So 7A, 7B, 7C still exists, but it's just, I suppose it's just a different way of, if my best friend's in 7C and I'm in 7A, and we've done that on purpose because we talk too much, I can still catch up with that person at some times through the week.
Anything to add, boys? Tina summed it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other questions?
Like it's fantastic. It's a fantastic concept. But I know what I was like as a kid at school, and if I had that much freedom, like I would be, I'd be there mucking around with my friends.
Can I take that one?
Yeah. Like, so how does that handle? And how, like, what's your?
We don't just let you go.
Yeah.
Because term 1, we get to really know you exceptionally well. What do we know? We know your ability. We know if you've got a cat and a dog. We know if mum and dad are together. We know what your favourite colour is. How do we do that? Just by being there and talking to you. So you're our problem child, and we do have them. Well, we say we red flag kids. So there's 3 of us in here teaching at the moment, and I'm sorry I don't know your name.
Bronwyn.
So we've already gone, Bronwyn's been a bit of an issue. So you can take the red flag kids today. We're going to keep teaching. So you have a teacher that comes down and does, what's your problem? You're on your plates. You know that we're expecting that you're going to improve. How are you going to set a goal to improve? Now this isn't a one-off that you do on a little piece of paper and we put on the wall and forget, because we follow you through them. So if you go out of the zone and you're over in home echo, we get notification if you're not doing the right thing there. And I don't know if any of these lot would like to admit to it, but you muck up over there and you get out of the zone, they don't know. By the time you get back, you've got the email. So then you have 1 or 2 of us saying, can you please explain why you behaved as you did in you're representing me, I'm not teaching you that, can you please explain? Now, it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick fix. If it was, I wouldn't be here, I'd be a millionaire somewhere. But we are the constant in your life. And if you don't get it right, we're the ones that are going, you mucked up a bit there, how are you going to fix it? Not, you're never going to get this back and blah, blah, blah. Now, having said that, and I won't name names, we have a red card system of behaviour. So if you get a red card, you've done something really wrong. We've got one student that had a considerable amount last year. This is a girl. She's had none this year. Why? Because we're not going to red card you. That's easy. If you're mucking up, you've got me. Please explain. We're not...
And that continues though, as Sammy and I teach, Cindy's dealing with Bronwyn.
So then
and the class doesn't have to stop.
There's no
The kids, the kids don't miss out on learning time. And it's just it's something I didn't believe, Bronwyn, either. I went to a school in Melbourne and they had 80 kids in a big space, 4 teachers. It was great. I said, oh yeah, sure it is. And I said, what about the behaviour? And I said, it's been amazing. There's a drop-off in the behaviour issues for us. And I didn't believe it. Because I went to that school in Melbourne. It was a rough, tough school. And I didn't believe them until I'd actually been part of it myself. And it is, it's I suppose there's more sets of eyes.
And the accountability is really there. The kids are accountable for their actions, and that is part of the learning curve for them. They don't like having to come to us and go, yeah, I did stuff up.
We just gently say it's time for mummy talk.
Take a
And they
seat.
just roll their eyes and go, okay, give it to us. But it is just that constant. We are the constant.
Oh, look, yeah, I can see the benefits already. Yeah, like going to that type of school where you're all sitting at your desk and you've got to be quiet and someone mucks up and it's a big drama and detention and all of that
And
stuff.
all of a sudden you've got a reputation because the other 22 kids are now focused on you.
Yeah.
So you've got the option of either planning around and making a bigger disruption. No. A lot of times the kids while they're working don't know what kids we're working with.
Yeah.
And I'll say it because some of the grade 6s that are in here, I said it to them yesterday, we work on the big F word and that's fair. So we want it to be fair for all, and that means we're all accountable. We're accountable as well. Homework's due on a Tuesday. We've made an agreement with the kids. We will mark it Wednesday night and we'll get it back. Tuesday night. You get it back Wednesday morning. If you're going to have it in at 9 o'clock Tuesday, we're getting it back Wednesday morning. They hold us accountable to that too. You know, it's a give and take. It's one place they can muck up and there's that safety net to go, you didn't get it right this time, I'm still here and I'm going to be here for the whole year. What are you going to do to improve it? And as I said, we're really passionate, so we love the questions. So.
Look, time is marching on. We have tea and coffee up the back if anyone wants to hang around and ask a few more questions. If anyone does want a tour, I'll hang around down the front here and it'll only take us 5 minutes to tour this campus. If you do want to go across the road though, that's fine. I've flicked on all the lights across there as well. But yeah, please make use of the staff that are in the room. I was probably a bit remiss to not mention the excitement that has been slowly building up over many years in terms of the development of this site. So few months ago now, the $7.6 million announcement has really, sparked a bit more interest and enthusiasm in what's actually going to happen over the next couple of years, and it's pretty exciting for us as a staff, but it's probably quite exciting for the kids coming through as well. They're going to have brand new stuff. Yeah. Did you want to mention anything, Ms. Stewart, or?
No, just as Ross said, we're currently working with the department and it'll be a couple of years to get the new buildings, but there will be more buildings on this site, which is fantastic. So, kind of watch this space. And the only other thing I'd add